everybody. Welcome back, or welcome to the show. Welcome to Genre of Your Life podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Doug Jones, one of the founders here of Midway Avenue Productions. With me, as always, is my two great co-hosts. First off, the one, the only, writer, producer, director, co-host, Nick Johnson. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to be here. Feeling blessed. Living life to the fullest.
Man, I love hearing that. Preach, my friend. Preach it. As always with us, my other esteemed co-host, writer, producer, co-host, other co-founder of Midway Avenue Productions, along with Nick, Mr. Joel Kindlin. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. A little tired, but I'm good. Glad to be back from our tiny hiatus. We were supposed to shoot a show, but you were sick, which is understandable, you know what I mean? So it's like, so we missed a week, but now we're back, and, we're doing this thing. We got quite a bit to talk about. One of the movies that's mainly you and Nick got to talk about, I haven't seen it because, busy, but, we got a good show this week.
Good show this week. Yeah, my apologies for last week. I got some kind of weird sickness randomly. I was at the Creed 3 screening last week with Malone. Halfway during the movie, I started coughing really badly and started sneezing. Everyone was looking at me, and Malone was like, "Bro, you good?" And I was like, "No, I need to leave real quick." And the guys in front of me just kept turning back at me. Again, I was in an IMAX theater. And I was being louder than the IMAX movie. That's not good. That's not good. As I was like, oh shit. So I'm at the AZ Mills IMAX, Nick. I'm like, going to the back. I'm like sneezing and coughing. I'm like, oh. And they come back. And I was like, you good, bro? And I'm like, I don't think so.
Jeez.
I was like, uh-oh. And the next day, I woke up just feeling sick. I felt like, man, I lost my throat. I lost my voice. I was like, ew. And sure enough, I was like, no episode this week. I would have sounded mute. I would sounded like talking like this, like a gremlin or like
Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. No, literally. And I was just like, yeah, no, this is a no-go. But we're back, everybody. We are back. The boys are back. As always, follow again if you're liking the show, if you're a fan of the show. Please give us a nice subscribe and like us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora Podcasts, where you can find us. Spread the word about us. Share us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, MySpace. It's bringing it back. Whatever you use. Also follow us on social media. You can find us at Midway Avenue Productions. Find the show there on TikTok and Instagram. I'm doing a lot more TikTok recently, trying to promote the show, promote the channel. Like that. So yeah, follow us on there. I'm posting kind of random reviews and kind of random marathons I'm watching, stuff like that. And again, find all of us do the show on Instagram at Midway Avenue Productions. But like Joel said, yes, the big news we talk about is yes, Nick and I have now seen Creed 3, the third movie in the franchise, but what, number 9 of the entire Rocky franchise, correct? I think so. Number 9.
Yeah.
Right? 6 Rockies, 3 Creeds.
That's right. Because it was Rocky 5 and then it was Rocky Balboa. That's right.
That's right. So there's 9th movie in the franchise. This one directed by Michael B. Jordan, his first time directing, which I thought, honestly, good on him. He knows his character pretty well. This was his kind of franchise. This is his lead and directorial debut as a filmmaker. So Nick, I'm gonna go with you first. Actually, I know you are both Michael B. Jordan fans, both Creed fans. What did you think of Creed 3 overall?
Well, when I first heard that he was going to be directing it, I was like, okay, I'm still going to watch it because it's Creed, but first time director and he's acting in it. I don't know, but I got faith in my boy. So I was kind of like, okay. We're getting closer and closer to the release date. I'm like watching these little featurettes of him on YouTube, and he's saying like, yeah, we used for all the fight scenes, we use like IMAX cameras and stuff like that, and like it hasn't been done. It hasn't been done before. I'm like, okay, very, very interesting. He's piquing my interest like more and more and more, and then I'm watching the movie. And I gotta say, it was good. I'm pleasantly surprised. And again, no spoilers. I know one of us hasn't seen it yet, but but no, it was good. Oh man, I'm trying to think of what else I could say without spoiling it. I will say that the direction by Michael B. Jordan, it's really good. The writing overall is really good. The characters are all really good. I think for me personally though, I would just add like an extra like 20 or 30 minutes just to kind of like
Yes.
flesh some
Yes.
more things out, just a little bit, but it was solid. I liked it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, how would you rank it for the three Creed movies in your opinion? Like, where would you place this one?
This one, oof, that's a tough one. I think I would place this one at number two, but it's like it's very, very close to number one. Like all three movies are really, really close to each other. Like none of them are bad in my opinion. It's just like, oh man, this one it was almost there. It was almost there. Maybe just tweak one or two things, but it was good though.
Yeah,
I think my favorite one is Creed 2 though. That's my favorite of the trilogy.
oh, Creed 2 is so good. Thank you, thank you.
It's
That's one
good, yeah.
that Joel Hessing actually. I saw with him on my birthday. Um, yeah, thank you. I feel like Creed 2 goes kind of underappreciated sometimes. Like it's kind of like in
Mhm.
between like that. You know how amazing the first Creed was, and then with Creed 3. I feel like it kind of goes like unappreciative, like the direction, the cinematography, the kind of like it was darker too. The first one had like dark moments, but like Creed 2 took a dark turn at time. You're just like, oh wow, this is definitely a darker approach to the franchise, as well as
Yeah.
darker storytelling within the Rocky movies, as well as telling a story that's kind of personal to the Creed family and the Creed character of both Apollo and Adonis. So thank you. I love Creed 2, man. I really
Yeah,
do.
man,
It's so
it was
good.
good because also in my eyes, like that story, that's what it's all been like leading towards. You know what I mean? So that's
Yes.
also like it feels like there's like a sense of finality to it. Like I'm happy that they made Creed 3 for sure, but if they wanted to just leave it at Creed 2, I think that would have been a good ending as well. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
how Creed 2 went. You know what I mean? And also it was like it was just kind of like you said, it was kind of dark. It was kind of like heavy when you think about it, because it was a lot of it dealt with the sins of the father
Yes.
falling down into the sun. You know what I mean? Like because it was Apollo Creed had died, and then that's how that was kind of the inciting incident for this trilogy. Because now it's Adonis Creed and he's doing his thing, and then in part two, Drago comes through with his son. So now it's like it's Drago versus Creed all over again. Like it's
Yeah,
history going to
dude.
repeat itself. Oh, I don't know. Da, 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 da. And so it's kind of like, okay, I like that a lot. And there was something else. There's something else. It's escaping me right now though. But
Dude,
no, yeah, like it was. That's the one though.
Creed 2 had a great trailer because I think I knew like again I knew that the reports like oh Drago's coming back, but the teaser trailer for Creed 2 did something so smart where like you see
Mhm.
Rocky, you see Creed, like but like you didn't know who he was fighting, and the trailer was so smart of like I gotta fight him. Well, who's him? Like who's him? And then Rocky's like he goes, your dad said the same thing to me, and he died in my hands. But we're like wait, who is who? And then the very last shot you see is Drago's son like in the ring, and he turns around and you see Drago on his back. I said,
Mhm.
that's brilliant trailer editing right there of saying,
Bro.
here you go,
Oh,
Drago's back.
you know what? 'Cause I remember what I was gonna say earlier. Like it was in Creed 2 when Adonis was initially telling not Apollo but Rocky, like, yo, I think I'm gonna try to fight Drago's son, and like they were having their little back and forth, and Rocky was like he's too dangerous, you can't fight him, and Adonis just shouted out like, I'm dangerous. I was after I had seen that. After I'd seen Creed 2, I was watching for the first time all of the Rocky movies, and in one of them, it was either the first one or the fourth one. Apollo Creed had a line like very similar to that. They were like, "Bro, you can't fight this guy; he's too dangerous." He's like, "I'm dangerous. I'll beat his ass right now." It was like it's interesting that like they kind of have the same lines, and that just again goes with like the whole like parallel thing. And then
Yep.
like you said, like when Drago comes back up, it's like it's adding to this whole like, holy shit, is he gonna kill him? Is he about to kill Adonis Creed?
Dude,
Oof,
I remember
we're
seeing
giving
that.
me the chills just now.
I had goosebumps. I remember seeing it with Joel opening day, and when we see Drago's son for the first time walk out, all I hear is Joel go, "God damn!"
No, yeah, that dude was fucking big. He was scary as hell, man.
He's a real boxer, by the way.
He is.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I remember Joel's like, "Damn." Joel's like, "That's not a man. That's a fucking machine." We're just cracking up. I'm like, "Yeah, you're right.
He's like, this isn't a dude. You're a dude. This is a man.
Man." Dude, I
That
love.
motherfucker was a building. Like, God
It's about
damn,
20
like
seconds building.
that motherfucker is so
It was
big that
fucking
if
huge,
the
bro.
zombie
Huge.
apocalypse happened, he would be a tank from Left 4 Dead.
Man,
Like,
literally, dude. Like he would have been a fucking tank. Just left it.
dude, it's I forget how big dudes can be, man. I'm like 6'1".
Huge.
I'm just a basic ass bitch. This motherfucker's tall as fuck.
Huge, bro.
Just huge as fuck.
Huge
For no
casting.
reason.
For no reason.
Built, bro. So yeah, I mean, with Creed 3, I liked it a lot too. I think it was again a very good. Props to Michael B. Jordan for directing his first time directing. This was his movie. He wanted to come out as a filmmaker. Yeah, I thought the IMAX scenes were awesome because again, it's the first sports movie to use IMAX cameras, and that was again. I'm a big. I mean, we're all big IMAX nerds. Like that was shot very, very well. To like, wow, it was unique. How he shot the fight scene with anime influence was
It
very cool too. But
it made me sad. The third one made me sad for Stallone. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh
that was
yeah,
in my
yeah, yeah.
that was in my cons too. Where like again, for me, the pros were again. I think the acting was superb. Jonathan Majors dude stole the fucking show. He was a great antagonist. He had so much depth. He had so much like saw so much rage in him. But like, there's one scene again, no spoiler. There's one scene that happens where something kind of snaps in his head, and I said, "Oh shit." That's gonna be something changed in his direction as a character. Where I said, "Uh oh," and kind of now just like took the course for new direction for this character. I said, "Oh my god," and you see it in his eyes too. I'm like, "Wow!" Again, it's good acting on his behalf. Wow, you saw something just like just snap in his head. Like, "Uh oh." And acting was superb. I think Felicia Rashad did a good job. Tessa Thompson did a great job. The girl playing the deaf daughter did a good job too. Um, I love the theme too of the movie of like brotherhood. Like it was brotherhood, but what if like brotherhood became like a rivalry? Like we're enemies now, which is I think happens a lot more in like competition. With like sports or whatever. Kind of have this thing against like someone I love, someone I consider family, and now you're kind of going toe to toe with them, no matter what it is. It's kind of like wow, like went from brothers to like rivals, and you saw like wow, these two guys were good friends at one point, and now they just kind of hate each other. Not each other, but like they're just angry at each other. They want to like destroy each other. You're just like oh shit, this definitely like kind of shows of like how quickly you can turn in a flash. And you know what
That
too?
actually
Quick,
was
go ahead.
my bad. I just got like a quick question about that because like dealing with the whole theme of brotherhood for this movie. Initially, when Jonathan Majors was casted, I thought like, okay, what if he's like one of Apollo Creed's other kids, and
Oh
it's
shit!
essentially it's literally brother versus brother. So like I was like when Jonathan Majors was cast, I was like, oh, that would be perfect. That'd be the perfect way to do a trilogy. And then
Yeah,
they dropped the trailer, and it was like, oh, his name is Damien. Okay, he's like, but we was like brothers. I'm like, okay, why didn't y'all just do like Apollo Creed
right,
Jr. versus Adonis Creed? Like, I
right.
feel like that would have been kind of interesting at least, but no, I don't know. That's just me.
Definitely. Also, too, I'm glad they didn't do like, oh, it's Clubber Lang's son. That would be like, all right. All of their kids are fighting.
That would have been too much for me. That would have been a bit too much for me.
Would have been cheesy. But all right. Anyway, to my cons, I mean, what Joel brought up a few minutes ago. Yes. Okay. Again, no spoilers whatsoever. But I feel like this movie again. There's drama again. Also for our listeners, some context. There is drama between the studio, the producers, and Stallone. There's no beef between Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, which is good, or Ryan Coogler and Stallone. Original producer Irvin Winkler, who owns majority of the rights to to the movie to the franchise, has produced all the Rocky and Creed movies since the first one. He kind of just like has again his ownership over the rights and the property. You know, Creed 2, we always in Creed 2. Creed 2 could have ended the whole franchise almost. Like you said, Nick. It could have been a nice send off to like both Rocky and Creed. Wow, good send off. It could have ended there. So, okay, I kind of knew Rocky was going to be in this one because again, I thought okay, we could move on from it for sure, for sure. To Joel's point, you do feel bad for Stallone because of the behind the scenes stuff where studio, the studio and the main producer, kind of like did Stallone dirty, where like Stallone wanted to have some kind of ownership to again. He made the original franchise. Creed, Paul Creed is one of his characters, obviously. But also to play devil's advocate, Coogler brought something different to the franchise with Creed that was his own voice, but it was still Stallone's, sandbox, or whatever. To Joel's point, yeah, the studio and the producer
Um,
kind of did him dirty, which okay, no spoilers at all again, but Nick, I think you can talk about this too. We can talk about this too. There's like barely a mention of Rocky in this movie. This is in the articles too.
There's like a couple, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's like one or two.
So, all right. Anyways, Stallone during an interview said that he's never going to watch Creed 3.
Yeah, in the same interview, he said like it's because again he loves Michael B. Jordan, he loves Coogler, but he was saying he has beef with Irvin Winkler because Irvin Winkler kind of like not betrayed him, but he wouldn't give Stallone a fair share to the rights of his own franchise.
Yeah, and Stallone wanted the kids to be able to like take control because like again Stallone made like Rocky, you know what I mean? Like, so for someone to take ownership, like full on ownership of something you created, bro, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, it's not pretty. That's kind of show business to a degree. Of it's not show friends show business, obviously, but yeah, I think if again, and Stallone still has a quote unquote producer credit to Creed 3, but at the same time, it's just kind of like it's more like a formality thing. Oh, let's give him a producer because yes, it's still the Rocky universe to a degree, and yes, he has a producing credit, but producing as like a producer can be loose. Give me a loose term here and there. It had different meanings. But I do feel like there's again, there are some times where like when again no spoilers, but like when they're in someone's house, they're in someone's like kind of like gym. There ain't no pictures of Rocky. There's no like pictures or frames of him whatsoever. It's like also there's one big scene again no spoilers, but Nick, there's that one big scene. Rocky should have been there. I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
One scene, right? Quick cameo.
Oh, you know what? There was This also isn't a spoiler. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say it. It would be too close. But I'll text you later, Doug. About it.
Text me about it later after the show. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for any of our listeners or even including Joel. But there's one big scene that kind of bothered me. I was like, what? Why is he not there? And again, I'm not.
Oh, you know what? Because remember at the end, it might have been because he moved at the end of
Me too.
Creed 2, maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe he just kind of like packed up and left. Maybe, I don't know. That's the only reason I could think for him not being there.
I just feel like I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we want to see Creed not in Rocky's shadow," which again I get that 100%. I do. You want to see Creed be his own person, his own kind of like champion. I completely agree with that. But I feel like there should have been some kind of like picture or quick cameo at least of Rocky. Just again, quick cameo, and there's one scene I'm talking about in general. You know what I'm talking about, Nick. It's just one scene I feel like he should have been there. But again, that's besides the point. It didn't take away from the movie whatsoever. However, there a few things too. My cons with the movie was there are some things that happen in the movie are quickly kind of just like, all right, next scene, kind of forgotten. I'm like, I wish, to your point exactly, I wish the movie took another 20, 25 minutes to kind of marinate it, kind of like let us sit with it a little bit longer. I'm like, I think we needed just a couple more minutes to just like breathe, because I felt like rush, fight, a resolution, which again, it's a sports movie. You want to see the fights, you want to see the tension, you want to see the build up. I get that 100%. I agree with you 100%, which I wish the movie took more time, 20 more minutes, just to like sit with the actions, sit with the consequences, sit with like things that kind of happen, because I think to us as fans and viewers, it could have helped us maybe enjoy the movie a bit more, personally. But again, that's more of an editing thing. it's kind of not nitpicking, it's more of an editing thing to like bring up. But I wish that we took a few more minutes just to like have us sit with it. And also one more thing before we move on. I do think there's one Nick talking about there's one kind of like relationship in the movie that is from a past movie where I was kind of like, y'all would not be friends. Y'all would not be friends.
Man, I'm forgetting which one you're talking about.
So, I won't spoil anything, but here, let me text it to you because I don't want to like ruin like the thing, but it's there's one. I was like, wait. If this happened, you would not. You would not be. You would not.
Know what? No, I think I know what you're talking about.
I just feel like that.
No, yeah, I'll text you about it. I'll text you about it.
I feel like I'm trying hard not to spoil this for anybody, but there's a relationship in this movie, and I was like, y'all would not be friends. Given the context of what happened in this franchise, I was like, ain't no fucking way. I'm like, ain't no way this would happen. But again, to conclude my review of this movie, I liked it a lot. I would rank it personally. I love 1 and 2 equally so much. I really do. I think I would do. It's again 1 and 2 are so neck to neck how close they are. I think I would still do 1, 2, and 3 in that order. But I was very impressed with the direction from Michael B. Jordan, the IMAX scenes, the storytelling, the acting for sure. I just wish the editing was a bit better, as well as, like you said, Nick, 100%. Which is, I wish the movie took a little bit more time to like for us to let it breathe, and for us to kind of like consume like what happened. Because I think it would have helped the movie out in the long run of like having the extra runtime for us to like consume it as viewers.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think I would give this one like a solid 8.5.
Oh yeah, I was very
yeah, because it was solid, bro.
very very impressed. Yeah, very impressed with Michael B. Jordan. I can't wait to see what he does next as a filmmaker. I feel like he's a good producer already. I'm very looking forward to his career as a filmmaker. 100%.
And actually, before we change the topic, I feel obligated to say this as the resident Superman fan in the group.
Okay.
Because for a while now, I've been thinking like, oh, it would be kind of cool if Michael B. Jordan played Superman in the movie, And then I heard he was directing Creed 3, and I was telling my roommate like, hey, bro, if Creed 3 turns out to be good, then I say like for the new DCU, just cast Michael B. Jordan as Superman and have him direct it. And I gotta say, after seeing Creed 3, I would let him star as Superman and direct the Superman movie to start off the DCU. I think that could be a fun idea.
You know what's funny too? There was an interview last week. I'll send it to you. I'll send you guys after the show. There's an interview where this guy brought up saying, "Hey, Superman," and Michael Jordan goes, "Yep." Mm-hmm. And they start talking. Bro, the publicist came into the room and she goes, nope, shut it down right now. Nope. Like,
jeez,
this
journalist. It would be cool to see him with the cape. It would be really cool to see him in the cape. Maybe not even if he's not even like necessarily Clark Kent. It would be kind of cool to see him as Val Zod. I think that would be dope.
Yeah, bring. I think he can bring his own take to the story, to the character. But this interview was so funny, dude. Like this guy brought it up. Immediately, the publicist, the PR girl, was like, "Nope, don't bring that up. Nope." Like she shut that shit down so quick. I said, "Huh, interesting."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, still speaking of Michael B. Jordan, actually, about this, I want to ask you guys this question. So, it is confirmed now. No director attached yet. It's happening. I Am Legend 2 is happening with Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan. That I'm already hearing Joel like he's ready to talk about this.
What are your thoughts on it, Joe?
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So how can
I Am Legend 2.
It is. I fucking hate sequels. I fucking hate sequels, especially ones that have been gone for so long. Like we are getting an ET sequel, like we fucking needed it. All right,
I ain't even seen the first one yet.
Dude, you don't need to. It's a good classic movie, whatever. It's not like you need to see ET. Like no one fucking cares. Anyways, I didn't want to see the kid grow up. But anyways, it's pissing me off because everyone's getting so excited for movies they already know about. that it's just like, oh man, this movie's coming back, and it's like y'all are letting the nostalgia factor hit and letting these nostalgia movies come back with a fucking fierce passion when overall a majority of them are fucking overrated and suck dick because the movie, the story, they don't care. They're cash grabs, and no one fucking cares. Like making the movies, no one cares. Like it is headache inducing that we're getting a fucking that we're getting this movie because it's just like, dude, like it's been years. Like now this is just, and y'all don't have a director. Like, do they have writers?
Yes. So they have
Because like,
what I heard right now.
because
Like, what?
because if it is, we're gonna get Will Smith as director. No offense, I don't like Will Smith directing. I really don't. He focuses on his fucking face so much. Like it's just Will Smith and dude, like it's just like it's like going to an art gallery with just Will Smith fucking plastered all over the fucking place. You know what I mean? Like no offense, he's a great actor. He's a douchebag though. No offense. When it, like in the factor, he's not like a douchebag personality, but he's obsessed douchebag. That's what I meant. Like that, he's very self.
Like a lot of actors.
He loves being on camera. Like this man can't even be in the background without even saying shit.
So
Like he's not a background character. You know what I mean? Like he like a lot of other actors let the directors and everything take control and don't mind just being in the background or not being in a scene. But Will Smith, he's like, I have to be on the camera.
so right before, yeah. So actually, so right now they have Akiva Goldsman. Actually, is the writer. He wrote the first one. He wrote a lot of movies. He wrote a lot of like. He wrote a lot of Star Trek stuff too. No, no, well, some Star Trek stuff. He wrote I Robot with him. Like a lot of movies. He won an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind. He also wrote first movies he wrote actually were Batman and Robin. Sorry, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, which two not the two.
He wrote. I'm sorry. He wrote A Beautiful Mind. That was him.
That's him, dude. He wrote yeah. Keep
A
it going,
Beautiful Mind. What was
That's
that movie?
crazy. That was the one with Russell Crowe where I think he had paranoid schizophrenia.
Yes,
Never saw it.
It was good, man.
Good.
It was amazing. That like, hey Joel, like when you watch it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's what Nick was talking about. That's why Nick was so confused as to why Akiva Goldsman wrote it. And this is the same guy that came off of Batman and Robin.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
He wrote some good movies. I mean, he had a good string. He had A Beautiful Mind, I, Robot, Cinderella Man, Da Vinci Code, I Am Legend. And then he wrote some shit like Divergent 3, Fifth Wave, Rings reboot.
Oh, the Fifth Wave.
Garbage.
That was so dumb.
He also wrote Transformers 5, which is probably the fucking boo-boo ass, the worst Transformers ever to exist. Also, The Dark Tower. Oh god, Dark Tower was atrocious, man. Good acting.
Dark Tower was very disappointing.
He also created Titans, Nick. Believe it or not, he created Titans.
I have seen his name in the credits, and I'm not. You know, it's a solid show. I think once the DCU starts, though, it's going to be canceled. I think so. I think this is the last season, which I'm a little bummed about.
I heard it's really good. I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. And he also wrote three of the most recent Star Trek shows, Paramount Plus. So he's got a range, but I think. Right. Well, first off, okay, he's right. We wrote the first one, and I actually watched the first one again recently. I think it still holds up. I think it's still a very good apocalypse. I mean, we live in an age now where like '07 was like kind of like before we're seeing all this kind of like zombie, quote unquote zombie, and like post-apocalyptic movies. We see them a lot more now on television and movies and gaming, whatever. But at the time, I remember I was I think we were all 10 years old. I remember seeing that movie when I was 10 years old with my cousins in New York. I said, "Oh fuck!" It scared me to a degree because I was just like, "Oh, these are kind of scary ass monsters." I'm like, I remember I was being in New York watching this movie take place in New York, being like, "Shut the fuck down," and it was very eerie. As a 10-year-old, I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like this is actually a real like.
So wait, you were 10 when the movie came
I was
out?
10. So what, you were 11?
No, because I'm. How old are you right now? You're
5.
25.
5, yes,
You're
sir.
25. So I would. I would probably be turning 12.
Yeah.
So I was either 12 or I'm turning. I was turning 12. So for me, it has been.
07.
Was it? Yeah. So
That was
I
not,
was
I think
turning
that was one
12.
of Will Smith's biggest openings for a long time. Like $80 million opening weekend, huge gross. Domestic.
So it's been for me. It's been 14 years. Going on 15. Um, it's a good movie. I still watch it, but the fact that it's been this long, and we've all seen it, right? You guys saw
Yeah,
it.
of course.
I've seen it.
Of course.
All right, if you haven't seen it, spoiler, but it's been a big ass minute.
Years.
Your own fault. Um, he has the cure at the end. I don't see what the fucking struggle will be
What if they do like a
in
28
this
weeks later
new
and
movie.
the virus kind of like reemerges or evolves or something like that?
So that's
Well, yeah, but that's the thing where it's like this virus has already won most of the population. You get what I'm saying? It's sort of like a World War Z type of thing. The zombie, you know what I mean?
right. And so, well, what I heard was, you seen there's an alternate take of I Am Legend where he lives.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
lives.
Mm-hmm.
And the writer and the studio said, we're going to base the sequel off of that ending. You know, and again, it's been 15 years, guys. So, no, sorry, not sorry. But 15 years, again, spoiler, surprise. You know, in the original ending, the theatrical ending, the zombies going crazy. Like they want the body back of the girl that he was curing downstairs. You know, and the survivor girl and the little boy were like, and you know, Will Smith's like, I can save you guys, and the zombies going like fucking like ape shit. They're going berserk. And remember, he goes, all right. And then those two, the one surviving woman and the kid, get escape. He blows the whole lab up, with including himself with a grenade. The alternate take is the zombies kind of like see the girl being cured, and something kind of triggers in them, and the zombies don't hurt them. They walk out with the girl, and he survives in the end. This is the ultimate take of the movie. He survives. So again, the writer and the studio said the sequel is going to be based off of that ending, not the theatrical ending.
I feel like that's going to be weird because not everybody is going to be aware of that alternate ending. So I feel like it's going to be like, so he died, but they're just doing a sequel with the like, you know what I mean? Like they would have to in the movie, I guess, somehow explain that. Oh, this is the alternate version of it. I feel like.
But by the way, they didn't care that she was being cured. Yeah, the big zombie, the one that was basically in charge of the other
alpha, yeah.
I wouldn't even call them zombies either. That's his mate. Basically, that's his girlfriend from before they changed or whatever. And he was like, I want her back. He didn't say that, but he was acting aggressive. So, that character saw that and gave her back to him. But like, didn't he grab blood from her anyways in that ending?
He did. Yes, you're right.
So when he had the cure?
I think he did, yeah, because I think they were still going to do the cure.
So he has the cure already. It's been, for some people, it's going to be 15 years. You know what I mean? Like 15, 16 years, depending on how long this movie takes to come out, where it's like, what the fuck are y'all gonna be writing? Where it's like, yo, there's still not cured, niggas. Good luck. Like, you know what I mean? Like World War Z, that shit was horrifying, and they solved that in less than a year. You know what I mean? They basically gave everyone their like herpes. There you go, world saved. You know what I mean? Like
that was a little weird. I was like, wait. I must have missed something, bro.
I literally
make everyone sick, then no one's gonna be a zombie anymore. I was like, this can't work. Because now they're just gonna die something else.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, right.
Nick, what do you think about this? Do you think this could be like, I don't know, a sequel that would really attract audiences, or do you think it's gonna be too late? This movie's been made 15 years too late. What do you think?
I feel like it feels kind of like a bit of a cash grab.
Yeah.
Like I would watch it because I like Will Smith as an actor, and I like Michael B. Jordan as an actor, and I like the I Am Legend movie, and the other older versions of the movies. And I like the story overall, so I would see it for that. I think a lot of people would see it just because of who's in it. You know what I mean? So I feel like that'll draw some people in. I feel like they don't need to make the movie though. You know what I mean? Like it feels kind of like it feels unnecessary.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, cause like Joel was saying, like Joel was saying, excuse me, like, bro, they cured it already. There is no story. If the whole story was them trying to find the cure, then they found the cure. They must have, right? It's been almost like 20 years. So what else is there to tell? And it makes me wonder, who would Michael B. Jordan even be playing? Would it be like, is he the new action star of this movie because Will Smith is too old to do it, and there's some more zombies, or they haven't cured them all yet, and maybe he's like a soldier or something like that. And I don't know, but
I think it's gonna be.
I was about to say I would watch
I
it.
think here's what there's just now in my head right now. I think it's gonna be the movie's gonna open up with that alternate ending that people didn't see. So again, Nick, to Joel's point, your point too. No one has seen that end in. The average going film fan probably has not seen that ending or knows about that ending whatsoever. I think they're gonna open the movie sequel. If again, this is if the movie happens actually. Open the movie with the alternate ending, and then they're gonna be like, okay, cool, bam. I think it's gonna start off kind of like, for example, like start off with Will Smith first, and then cut to how many years later, and maybe his son is Michael B. Jordan. And it's kind of like maybe time jump 20, 30 years later, and we're gonna see like Smith has either passed on or he's an old man, and Michael B. Jordan now is his son or whatever or family. I think it's gonna be kind of time jump, and then he's gonna be the son or some kind of like relative. Or you know what? It could be someone just completely different, a new character, unrelated to Will Smith whatsoever, but. You bring Will Smith back, I just assume Jordan's gonna play either a son or relative or something connected to him whatsoever. But again, it's a big what if this movie happens. Also, knowing Warner Brothers recently, they've been kind of like flip flopping with like releases not being made and being made, canceling. So it wouldn't surprise me. They're like, you know what, just kidding, we're not making this movie whatsoever. But from what I've heard, everyone seems to be on board. And the other day, Michael Jordan's on an interview on the radio. He's like, yeah, we're doing it, man. I'm so hyped. I love that movie so much. We're going for it. So I'm like, it seems to have momentum going forward for this movie to be like in development or active development. But again, to Joel's point too, and you too, Nick, it's like it has been 15 years. It could be going on longer. The movie gets made next year or year after or years later. There will be a time period has passed now since the first one. And it might be like, hey, will people even care if the movie comes out or not? Or will people even go see the movie? But I feel like, to Will Smith's defense, it is a very good move on his behalf to do a movie. Again, still a year. It's been a year since the slap. He's still kind of paying the price for it. Obviously, so kind of like it is what it's happened. It is what it is. We can't move on from it yet. I think it's smart to do projects that have a fan base. He's doing Bad Boys 4 with Martin. Smart move. You're doing things that, okay, you know what? People might still be mad at you, or people are like, oh, I'm still kind of mad at you, whatever. It is what it is. People should move on. It happened a year ago. It is what it is. I think he's smart enough to do some of his memorable IPs and movies to kind of like, quote unquote, like bring his audience back, bring his fan base back. I mean, that's how I see it personally. But I could be just, reaching. I could be reaching right now. But we'll see. Again, development, production, it's we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. I am very curious what's going to happen. Again, who knows? It could happen. It could be scrapped. It's Hollywood after all.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Hollywood. Speaking of Warner Brothers, actually, this is something that I kind of want to bring up to you guys. Again, I think we're all fans of this movie. So there's been reports, I'm hearing a lot of reports on the shows I listen to, people I hear at, through work, whatever, that Aquaman 2 had some really bad test screenings. Like,
Oh, I've been hearing about
that
that,
too, right?
bro.
I'm hearing
Eesh.
like really bad things, like Fantastic Four bad, like Fantastic Four.
Oh hell no! Nah, I don't believe it. Nah, I don't believe it. I call bullshit. Ain't no way.
Bro,
No, honestly, because like I really don't think it is.
I
I
think
kind
so
of I
too.
kind of think it's just like rumors and stuff. Because it's like James Wan is directing it again, right?
There's one directing it. The original writers are coming back. Peter Safran, who's now one of the heads of DC Studios, is overseeing this movie since day one. Before he got the job as a DC studio head,
Hmm.
yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
I feel like because it's all of the same people working on it, it should be fine. But at the same time, like it is kind of weird that we haven't been hearing anything about it or like seeing any like set photos or anything like that.
Yeah, there's been nothing.
That's a little strange to me, but
Been nothing.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like keeping it really, really tight under wraps, you know?
What movie?
So Aquaman 2 has had a really bad, like again, reportedly, not confirmed, but there's been reports that Aquaman 2 has had bad test screening after bad test screening. People walking out.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man! It's a little difficult. Like I like Aquaman. He's an intriguing character.
I thought of
I
the
wouldn't
first
say
one.
I'm a fan of him. Yeah, no, the first one was great. It did so well, and like I don't understand why it got so much hate. Like a lot of
A
people
lot of
still
hate.
did not like it. I was like, they did
Like it.
really well. You know what I mean? Like with his story and keeping it true, and like showing sort of how, he can still talk underwater and not making it very fucking awkward or anything like that. Um, I'm just wondering what the second story's on, you know what I mean? Like it has to be something good to keep audience captured. But also, I'll say this. DC is at a very big disadvantage because one, people right now are still die-hard Marvel fans that they give no fucks for DC,
Yeah.
which is like upsetting because it's just like, oh, like people tell me like I prefer Marvel, and it's like, I never really liked DC. I'm like, why the fuck would you like Marvel more? No hate to Marvel fans. No hate.
So
My best friend
some
is a
people think Marvel is
gigantic.
all superheroes too, man. Like it was a few years ago. I saw like Lego Batman, and I was telling my sister about it. She's like, "Oh, you love the Marvel movies?" I was like, "It's not all superheroes, sis." Sheesh.
Yeah, like here's the thing where it's like I love DC and people don't fully understand why. Because with DC, I feel like they come at you with more for their characters, but these movies have not shown it, except for Batman, which was really well, and a tiny bit of Superman. But it's like you gotta think of it like this, like, and I'm gonna use Batman as an example. Comic book Batman, he has fought against gods, fought with gods, still an atheist. This man works every night. He works out and like like when it comes to like the Flash, Batman, like and even Superman and a lot of other DC like heroes and stuff, like they in the comic books they show you why these heroes are human as fuck. You know what I mean? With the Flash, it's the death of his mother, his father in jail, and like just a lot of other shit that goes on. With Batman, it's ironically death of both his parents, and like him as a hero, like he's adopted like multiple children, and like
Yeah.
yeah, they were the Robins, but like he's Dick Grayson went on to do his own thing. Jason Todd, he died, and then was resurrected, like, and that one was a heart wrencher because people are like, yeah, he died, whatever. When you forget that Jason Todd, the great thing about that story is he was kidnapped by the Joker for a very, very, and I mean very long time, right under right under Batman's nose. He was at a abandoned wing of Arkham Asylum, and Batman was looking everywhere for him and couldn't find him. You know what I mean? And Jason Todd, like, he went through torture, like constant beating, just the harassment from the Joker. Like it was dark. And then here came, and like after that there was what's his name, Tim Drake, who's eventually Red Robin, who became also leader Teen Titans and all this other stuff, but he came behind Jason Todd thing, so he could never really branch out as Robin because Batman was, still dealing with the trauma of Jason Todd, and then later on, Damian Wayne, who's Batman's son, these things, like they all interact with each other, and they show the human side of this hero. Same with the Flash and Superman. Superman eventually loses his father, and he has Lois Lane, and Lois Lane has gotten into danger many times, and like Lex Luthor has tested, Superman, and like all these like other villains have tested Superman, where it's not, Superman isn't dealing with his humanity like Batman, because unlike Batman, Superman has to hold back. People forget that Superman has to hold back because he can kill you with just a sigh. That man is powerful. Like, and I just want them to show this fucking movie. Like, I want them to show this humanity, but people don't give a fuck. People don't give a fuck about DC because they're just like, Marvel's hilarious and this, and like, I don't give a fuck. Like, the only true movie of Marvel's that I ever like got invested in was Spider-Man, and that will stay that way forever.
Yeah.
Damn.
I just
Yeah.
to your point, Nick. I don't think James Wan has really made a bad movie. Again, there's movies that I haven't been really a fan of his personally, but I wouldn't call them like bad movies. But yeah, I heard the first report about a few weeks ago from a show I listen to on a podcast I listen to every week. This guy was saying like, yeah, well, I heard a source that works for Warner Brothers saying that yeah, he was part of the screening and said, ooh, it was disappointing. But again, we're still a year out from this movie. It comes out, Christmas time of 2023. But it does worry me that also too they had production issues too with Amber Heard. Again, I'm gonna politics, whatever. But Amber Heard was involved in this movie at one point, and I heard that they cut her part out a lot, and then she had a problem with that movie. They cut my scenes out, whatever. But then someone said, no, her part wasn't that big to begin with whatsoever. So the whole drama between that as well. Again, they had COVID delays. They had production delay and delay. I mean, again, The Flash and Aquaman have been pushed back so many times. Like the senior in high school hasn't graduated high school yet. Like they're still there, like waiting to graduate, high school. So but again, when I'm hearing more reports this week from people listen to either through work or through other podcasts, I'm like, again, these gotta be rumors. The movie could be fucking awesome come December, but I am starting to get concerned now because I'm just hearing more. Yeah, you're hearing more reports too, Nick. I mean, do you think we should be worried about this movie when it comes out, or think it's kind of just it's still too early to tell? Like it could be bad, it could be good. And what are your thoughts about it?
I think right now it's still too early to tell because, like I was saying earlier, if it's all of the same people making the movie in front of the camera as well as behind the camera, so that's what makes me feel like maybe it's not going to be that bad. But again, like it's a year out. We haven't really been hearing anything except these negative like reports about it. And so like that makes me a little bit nervous. And to be fair, also like just because it's in the same creative hands also doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be a hit.
Right.
The Mask of Zorro, right? That was directed by Martin Campbell, who did GoldenEye and Casino Royale.
Right.
But he also did, Green Lantern and the Legend of Zorro, which was a trash sequel. Like he did both Zorro movies, and they were both, or the second one was trash,
Yeah.
whereas the first one was like amazing. So like it's like it would make a lot of sense that because it's the same people working on it, it should be fine. But sometimes they can drop the ball, and again, it seems like there is still some kind of like not nonsense, but like there is some drama, tension, or conflict or something like that going on inside of DC. I feel like right now, like I don't feel like just because James Gunn came out and said, "Hey guys, here's some of Chapter 1," and da 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 da. I don't think just because he said that, like everything is all fine. Because even like I was finding out some stuff about like Henry Cavill playing Superman again at the end of Black Adam, and apparently James Gunn had written the Superman script for the new DCU like months before Henry Cavill even came through, and then he made the announcement like, "Hey guys, I'm back," and then it felt like the next day or something he was like, "Yeah, actually, I'm not going to be back," and so blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's some good and there's some bad and there's some kind of like I'm not totally sure what the fuck is going on here. But with that being said, it's my bedtime, and I got the milk in the microwave right now.
Get your
About to
cookies.
sip on that and wine a little bit. Some cookies, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
The size of my feet, soak my toes and everything. Turn on the nightlight. That's right. That's right.
Some, was that like the rain noises on the background noises?
The white noise.
The white
Soft
noise.
rain
That's right.
noise.
Well, Nick, brother, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for being always a great co-host, man. We love having you on as one of our co-hosts, as always, man. And thank you always so much for being your energy, man. It really can't be matched, man. So thank you always for being on the show with us. We know one of the best co-hosts we could ever ask for, man. I mean that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I love being on the show, man. I look forward to it every Thursday, 7:00. You already know.
Yes, sir, baby.
You already know.
Yes,
I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Till next time, man. Till next time.
Till next time. Love you guys.
Bro.
Peace.
Deuces.
Ah, man. To the two of us.
Yes, sir.
Two of us.
Like always.
The two of us. But yeah.
So to expand on what Nick said, I think he's right. Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, before I get to that, you guys both said like, yeah, it's a year out. That's worrisome.
Yeah.
You're out and people are walking out because we don't know how big of changes they have to do, and that means that these fucking the backstage costume, makeup, like set design and everything might have to do a lot of fucking overtime just to get this bitch pushed out by the time they said it would be released, unless they decide we're not going to be able to do it or we got to push it. It really depends on how much changes and how big of changes that they're going to be doing. Two, I totally agree with Nick, and I want to expand on that. Like a lot of people are like, all right, James Gunn coming in and he's just doing, like, you gotta understand that he's changing everything and firing people. There's gonna be drama, and that means that projects that people have been working on got pushed back, most likely, that we haven't heard about, that we probably would have heard about this upcoming year or so. And these projects were all just pushed back into the back burner because James Gunn was like, we're going to be doing this, which, by the way, is a lot. Me and you have said is a lot of side projects.
Yeah, a lot of side projects. And, this is something that I brought up a few minutes ago, too, was, my thing was, yes, it's a year. But again, these are two projects, these two DC projects from Warner Brothers that have been these were being made before Discovery bought Warner Brothers, before James Gunn came in. There were two movies that the old regime of Warner Brothers were a part of. And remember, I remember seeing the Batman. I remember Me and my girlfriend went um to a screening of the Batman, a year ago, and it was early screenings on IMAX, and this is like early 2022, and before the movie started, right? And this is before Discovery kind of came into office of Warner Brothers, before James Gunn was attached, whatever. And this is after this is when Peacemaker was still airing. This was after Suicide Squad, his version of Suicide Squad flopped. They had this huge trailer before the Batman coming 2022, Aquaman, The Flash, this stuff. And guess what? Those movies all got pushed a year or almost 2 years. And it's like, uh-oh. And you're right. Having a movie in test screenings almost a year out, it is troublesome. It is worrying because I'm like, wow, you're a year out and you're having problems because like this movie's been in production for 2 years, man. Like the movie was in production since like January 2021. We're really now 2 years away. We're 2 years into this, and you're still having issues. That to me, to your point exactly, is like it's worrisome because what's going on, what's happening, and I there's times you hear screenings like, oh, this test screening didn't work, or like, last month they said, oh, Indiana Jones 5 is in trouble. This movie's gonna be shitty, da da da. And the director, James Mangold, who's done Logan, 310 to Yuma, Ford versus Ferrari, great movie, said, bullshit. We have not had a test screening yet. That's false. But now what I'm hearing from industry insiders and the shows I've listened to, either through work or outside of work, I have been hearing a lot the same narrative now. It's like, yeah, Aquaman 2 is in trouble. And I'm hoping that's not the case. I want to see this movie. I want to see the movie on IMAX. I want to see it on IMAX. Again, you saw an IMAX. I'm super jealous about to this day. You saw this movie on IMAX. I want to see that new one in IMAX. I want to see Momoa, succeed. I want to see James Wan succeed. But hearing this more and more, it's like, uh-oh. Again, even Shazam, too. We're a week away from Shazam. And there's been, like, no buzz about Shazam whatsoever. I'm like...
No one gives a fuck about Shazam because they rushed that shit. Also, dude, who the fuck... No one wants to see him fight 3 random women.
My thing is... Yeah, you went to a screening of it. I saw it when I was in London. I just felt there was no hype around Shazam. It just came out. Came out a week before Endgame, basically.
Yeah, no, there was no hype, and also it doesn't help that Ant-Man was coming out, so people are like, Ant-Man trailers,
right.
Fuck this trailer,
right,
you know what I mean?
Dude,
which by the way, Ant-Man came out before the Shazam, but Shazam was putting out trailers before Ant-Man, which is mind blowing.
Yeah, dude, Shazam. Yeah, you're right. And I've now been to.
But also, we're looking at everything I've seen in the trailer is all about the family again, and it's.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck. Like, it was too early. They pulled it out their ass too early. You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem like he's really struggling. Like it's not feeling like he's earning this power, which, by the way, a child that turns into an adult keeps his secret for a very long time before the whole Shazam family came together is a real big good story, and they could have waited and they didn't.
I think again, you saw it a month before I did. I'm jealous. And you went to the Q&A with Zach Levi, which was really cool too. I remember you. I was in London. You called me. You're like, I liked it. I remember you saying like, I liked it, but I have a big problem with the ending. I said, uh-oh. And you're like, you'll see it when you'll know when you see it. I remember seeing. I called you out there. I'm like, yeah, you're right. The ending just felt kind of like rushed. It's really rushed. Like, oh, like because you had this really good, intriguing first half and the first 2 acts, and then Act 3 just kind of felt like you're right. Shazam family. It didn't feel earned. It didn't feel earned. It didn't feel like, okay, this makes sense. I both said it could have been waited for the sequel or sequel down the line, not right away. And you're right. I've now been in a few movies the past month, whether Ant-Man or Creed 3, and when the trailers again, I'm in these really packed these audiences, right? I love Zach Levi, but when being in these audiences, when the jokes are said, no one's laughing. Like no one's laughing. You can hear a
Mm-hmm.
pin drop. Like, there's no one laughing. No one's chuckling. I remember being at Ant-Man opening up with my family. Again, the entire family, like the entire like audience, packed IMAX theater. The jokes are happening in the trailer. I swear, bro, no one's laughing and no one is saying anything. I'm like, uh-oh. And then again, at Creed 3 last week, before the movie played, for a screening, they had the trailer played before, and it was Shazam. And then packed theater, all of us there, no one's laughing. I said, there's no hype for this movie whatsoever. There's no hype for it.
Mm-mm.
I love Zach Levi. I love people, the cast involved, but there is literally no hype, no buzz, no one's excited for this movie. I'm gonna see it regardless, but like there's no one really excited for this movie. And I think to your point too, back to Aquaman, you're a year away and you're having problems. I know James Gunn will probably and also again, the guy producing Shazam is also one of the co-CEOs of DC Studios. He produced the movie before Shazam, before he got the job at DC Studios as a CEO. So it concerns me to a degree that there's no anticipation that I've been noticing for this movie. It could be great. Movie could be awesome. Could be great. And it might just come and go. Right now, you're in between, three big movies. Shazam comes out next Friday. Uh, you have right now. You have Scream this weekend. You had last week was Creed. Guess what? The week after Shazam is John Wick 4. Everyone's looking for John Wick 4. Everyone's talking about John Wick 4. And I feel like once Shazam comes out, and once John Wick comes out, John Wick's gonna rule the box office for the next big movie. I just feel like it just came out at like a weird time of like, yep, it came out. It sucks. So, yeah, I love Zach Levi. I think he's a very likable dude. I think he's a good Shazam. But there's really no, from what I've seen, excitement for this movie. Do you feel the same way? Do we lose him?
Sorry, what'd you say? Sorry, I was in my head. I was listening, but also at the same time, like I was in my head. What'd you
Well, I'm
say?
saying, do you feel like there's any excitement for Shazam? Do you feel like this movie's gonna come and go? Because again, John Wick 4 comes
No,
out the week
and this
after.
is why I've been. This is why I've been saying it. DC is at a very huge disadvantage. It's because a lot of people who stuck through all the Marvel movies don't care for superhero movies. And then there's also the ones that just don't give a shit about DC. So it's all about Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. Fuck DC because they don't want to take their time and truly learn about the DC universe.
Yeah, and Shazam was a movie. Again, I remember when I came out and just when I was in London, I came back, to the States, and I was talking to people. I came back from my trip, it was from my semester abroad, and they were saying like, yeah, like then she Shazam, no interest, and I said, oof, and Shazam had stellar review, huge critic reviews, everyone was loving it, but I just remember like coming back from London, and there was no one talking about it. It was like right before Endgame came out too, so you're just like, wow. I feel like these two movies have the weakness of of like coming out at the wrong time, where it's just like they're coming out where other movies that people are excited for. Like I said, John Wick 4 is coming out the week after. That comes out, boom, everyone's talking about John Wick. Right now this week is Scream 5. Scream 5 will be really good. Big box office opening weekend. I'm hearing right now. So coming out in between these movies, where it's like it's the weakness of having a bad timing release. But again, everything could change once James Gunn starts doing production on his new shows and movies. But yeah, man, again hoping for the best. I wish the Shazam team well. Hope it does good. But I don't know. It doesn't look like it's gonna be a huge release or a huge expectation as of now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So The one thing that you haven't seen yet, I kind of want to talk to you about. Again, this is for our listeners. Joel and I are two of the OG. Emphasize the OG big Ninja Turtles fans. Like the OG, like the original cartoons and the first two live action movies. What I both know, we did not like those Michael Bay produced live action ones. No diss to the actors involved. It was not. It didn't hit us. Hardcore fans. So, Joe,
Which movie?
yeah, reboot the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah, Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, those.
They disfigured them motherfuckers at first. It was like the whole Sonic thing.
Yeah, I remember those trailers dropped. We were in like school, and you said, "Nope, I'm out." I said, "Hey, man, have faith. Have
Yeah,
faith."
you're like, I was like, they disfigured. Look at these motherfuckers. I was like, look at him. He looks not kind words. That's
Yeah,
why I said I can't say it anymore. But not kind words.
yeah. And those came out, and everyone kind of despised those movies.
Dude, those movies are bad. Are you talking about? So, anyways,
New one.
you're talking about the new one that's animated,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I haven't seen the trailer.
So this is something that's been announced. I want to say 2 years ago. It was announced that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, his writing partner and producing partner of like Superbad, Pineapple Express, the whole thing, the Point Grey guys. They announced they're going to produce and I think write a Ninja Turtle reboot. I said, huh. I said, okay. I like Seth Rogen a lot. I love Evan Goldberg too. I'm like, huh. Are these guys really the right guys to do Ninja Turtles? With that said, the guys who did Spider-Verse are Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who've done the first Lego movie, Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs, and Jump Street movies. I said, okay, those guys know animation. These guys know storytelling. Okay, cool. And you see interviews with them. These two guys love Spider-Man, and they love Miles Morales. They love like who Spider-Man is, and they did a fantastic job with Spider-Verse. Great job. You and I are both Seth Rogen fans, but we also think that they only had one movie with animation, and that is Sausage Party. And you and I. So I think we can.
Just keep
I think
going.
we can. I'm laughing because I told the story when you guys saw the screening for Sausage Party before I did, and you come out of the screen and text me. You go, "I'm scarred for life now." Because I was so eager to hear what you guys said about it, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm pretty scarred for life." I said, "Oh, I'm intrigued." I remember I was like my first week. I was moving to college that week. You and TJ saw it. I think Sebastian saw it with you guys too, and I was just like, "Okay, I'm intrigued now." Because I remember seeing it the first movie I saw with like a bunch of people in my dorm the first week of college. Barely knew these people, all new people to me. We had a huge dorm field trip to Sausage Party, and I was like, "Wow, what an experience!" But the ending is still this day. It's like, wow, they for sure took it there. I still laughed when you texted me. You were like, "Oh man, the ending just scarred me." These Seth Rogen has a very good background in comedy, dealing with ensemble pieces, dealing with like different kinds of comedy, whether it's Neighbors or This Is the End or Superbad or Long Shot, or the show Pam and Tommy. He has different realms of comedy. So when I heard, okay, so him and his team are gonna do a Ninja Turtle reboots, but catch is it's gonna be animated. I said, okay, like this new animation from Nickelodeon, which kind of like to me just do not is it not turtles like not the turtles that you and I grew up watching whatsoever, like whatsoever. I was like, all right, well, it's also been about 6 years removed from the Michael Bay ones. Do we need another one right now? So we'll see. The cat again. So the trailer basically trailer is they're teenagers actually this time. They're not being played by 30, 40-year-old dudes, or older than that, or like middle-aged men. They're actually teenagers, and for the most part, the four kids playing Donnie, Leo, Mikey, and Raph, um, all unknowns. However, one of the kids from Good Boys, the movie that I love a lot, is playing Raph. I said, "Oh, interesting." But again, it's the style of almost like Spider-Verse, almost. It's kind of like that animation. It's that style. Looks a little bit more claymation to a degree, but it is the very same kind of style of like Spider-Verse and the recent Puss in Boots movie. I'm like, huh. It's a very quick minute and a half trailer. You should watch it after this. It's because it's they use a Tribe Called Quest song for the music. And they're definitely teenagers this time. They definitely made them the actual age. Again, it has a great cast. It has Jackie Chan is playing Master Splinter. Believe it or not. Jackie Chan's playing Master Splinter, and I have the cast list right here. I'm gonna see. But Seth Rogen, right, and John Cena are playing Bebop and Rocksteady.
Um, honestly, at this point, I'm too exhausted to honestly give a fuck. Okay, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna just wait till I see the trailer. I'm not saying anything. I think it's a good idea for them to do teenagers who are coming up and try to get out of their training.
Yeah, it's
So I think it's good to have young Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that fuck up a lot.
yeah. They're definitely the right age of from like actual teenagers. So I'll definitely give them that because it's I mean in the past we've seen them they're being played by again grown ass men or like they're people in the 30s. But again we'll see. Again, it could be really good. I really don't have I have like little to no expectations really, but it could be great. I do think Seth Rogen's been very kind of just. I think he has track record kind of shows that he can do really good, original creative movies. So it could be great, or it could be, we'll see. But it's like I feel like a lot of people every 6 years or so tries to reboot Ninja Turtles, and it just either it works or it flops or it doesn't really do anything. So it's the trailer for sure is worth checking out. The animation looks pretty interesting. Again, great cast. Ice Cube's in it. John Cena, Rose Byrne, the girl from the show The Bear. She's playing April O'Neil. So yeah, there's a lot of star power behind this too, and I do like the four again, Raph, Leo, Mikey, and Donnie, are all played by like newcomer actors that we don't have Timothy Chalamet playing Leonardo DiCaprio or I don't know like another big like people that someone in their 20s or late teens playing the characters. So I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued by it, but I have no set. Could be good, could be bad. Of the summer, so we'll see. We shall see.
Yes, we shall. We shall see. Yeah.
What else? I did see actually finally with my brother. I finally saw a Cocaine Bear.
How was it?
Honestly, you know what? I did a quick review at a theater review with Fletch on our TikTok page. It's funny because it's a very good premise. Some of the humor really works, and some of the humor feels very flat. Like there was no one laughing. The time I was laughing my ass off, there was times where there was no one laughing in the packed theater, and I was like, uh-oh. And you know what? Like I said, also good seeing Ray Liotta one last time. I think you can tell he's having fun with this movie. Given the material, given like the nature of the movie whatsoever. But for our listeners, if you don't know Cocaine Bear, so Cocaine Bear is based on a true story about this drug runner who threw a bunch of cocaine out of a plane. I believe it's somewhere in Tennessee or somewhere in Georgia, and a black bear got into it one day and took it, ate it, and died. So the real life, no one got hurt, no one got like killed or attacked. But the movie kind of says, what if this bear took cocaine and really just like went on a fucking like frenzy, went on a fucking rampage.
We're on a rampage. Like it made him go so he's attacking everybody.
Crazy.
Amazing.
What crazy.
Okay.
And again, good premise. And so again, my pros of that, my quick review of this movie was the direction from Elizabeth Banks was very impressive. I think she managed both horror and comedy very well. With that said, I feel like she definitely managed more of the horror than the comedy. Like, the comedy was kind of lacking midway through the movie. You're like, oh, it's supposed to be a comedy, but it still wasn't that funny anymore. Some of the jokes were kind of already happening. She for sure managed the horror aspect very, very well. How gory it was, how violent it was. I think she did a good job managing both, but I think she managed the horror a bit better than the comedy. But yeah, it's a very quick, hour and a half. You're in and out of there. The major problem I had with the movie was there's two storylines happening. Storyline of like Ray Liotta's drug crew going to the forest to like retrieve the drugs, bring them back, and that's with Ice Cube's son and the guy who played Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich. They're sent to go get the drugs back. However, like there's a cop on the case as well who is going to the same forest, like follow the trail of the drugs and stuff like that, because it's all linked back to like the drug runner. And then there's also storyline with a mom and her daughter and her daughter's best friend. They ditched school to like go hiking in the forest. Which, to be honest with you, we were kids. We did school. We just either stayed home or went to the movies or went to the pool. We didn't hiking or anything too active.
This is back in the past.
Back in the 80s.
Before we were kids.
Back in the 80s. So that storyline. Kerry Russell plays the mom, and her acting is very good. To be honest with you, dude, her storyline really bored me. I was like, okay, I was more intrigued by the storyline between Ice Cube's son and Alden Ehrenreich and Ray Liotta's crew. That story made me very intrigued. Like, cool. Whenever they went back to their storyline, I was like, all right, cool, we're back with these guys. Because whenever it cut back to the mom and the daughter's friend looking for the daughter, it just felt very like generic. The writing wasn't that funny, and I felt kind of just like oh my gosh, like, get on with it. I didn't feel like intrigued by them whatsoever. So, if the movie focused on, excuse me, the movie focused on more of like, oh yeah, like Ray Liotta's crew getting the drugs back, I would have been like, cool, right, I'm into this, let's go. Whenever it cut back, also the movie's only an hour and a half, so whenever it cut back to the mom storyline, I was just like, yeah, I just don't care. I didn't get no diss to the actors. I just didn't really care. And then there's a crazy hospital ambulance scene. It's really, you're like, oh my god, this is insane, and it's definitely the big highlight of the movie for sure. And whenever the bear is on the screen, and again, before the bear looked pretty fake for a CGI bear, but it's a relatively low budget movie, but it still worked. Funny part of the movie though is Fletcher, my brother, who loves going to the movies too. He's a big sleeper in the movies. When the movie starts, he's knocked out. He has his big bag of popcorn, and he's knocked out. Like the first 5 minutes, even before the trailer. Sometimes he's knocked out. He's not a big guy except for musicals and a few movies here and there, I'll stay awake for it. But those comfy recliner seats. This boy is knocked out. Like he is KO'd for the entire movie.
Okay. There is a movie I want to talk about because we're getting to the 2-hour mark right now. Sorry for interrupting you. There's still a lot of people that haven't seen the movie, so I don't want to get too into it.
But
I don't mind because I don't care. You know what I mean? But there's people out there that I know personally that would want to see the movie.
Oh yeah, no.
So, sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say one thing of like, no, that's not spoiled, but like the Fletcher's like not a big, he's a kind of sleeper in the movie. So there's and the entire time he got jumped by the bears. He got scared by the bears in the movie, and Fletcher goes, "Oh my god, I'm so scared." and he goes, "I love this movie." It's like you went from being
So,
scared to loving this movie. um, Anyway, Cocaine Bear is in theaters now.
intriguing.
It's worth seeing in theaters. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's fun, but like anything special or groundbreaking. But I had fun with it. That's my quick review of the movie. But go ahead, my friend. What do you want to talk about?
Speaking of Fletch, um, there's a new movie and trailers have been out, and it reminded me of an old movie that me and you love very dear. And again, this has to sort of do with Fletch, not Fletch directly, but uh, okay. So for the audience that don't know, Fletch, Doug's little brother, has Down syndrome. Yeah, but he's a brilliant kid, super smart, witty as shit. Anyways, there is an old movie Johnny Knoxville did with a bunch of special needs actors where he was it the Special Olympics,
Yeah, it
right?
was
Or something like
called The
that.
Ringer. Yeah.
He did this, yeah, it's called The Ringer. He did the Special Olympics with them. He pretended to be special needs. And so he was taking part of it. There's a new movie called, I believe, Champions, where the actor isn't pretending to be special needs. He is a coach for special needs sports players, I think basketball players. And it just reminded me of that. And me and you love John Knoxville's movie, and so I saw this trailer, and I was like, oh, dude, nostalgia. I was like, man, this looks good. It looks funny. I was like, I have to tell Doug, you know what I mean? Because it's like that is something big, you know. And so it's intriguing, and it looks good as fuck. I like it. I forget who is the big actor playing the coach, but it looks good. It just gives me the Ringer vibes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
It's Woody Harrelson and Ernie Hudson, who was the ghost.
right. Woody
Ernie Hudson,
Harrelson.
man. Ernie
Yeah.
Hudson, one of the best actors ever, man. Well, like, great dude. Great comedic actor, great actor in general, man. He's a great dramatic actor whatsoever. Directed by Bobby Farley, one of the Farley brothers. You know, the Farley brothers have done Dumb and Dumber and Shallow Hal and Fever Pitch and something about Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene. Again, just again, really funny directors. So yeah, dude, I saw it too. The trailers look really funny. I remember saw the trailer with my parents recently, and we were all laughing about it. But I love Woody Harrelson for doing this, man. It's like you can tell he's having a fun time with this movie too. He doesn't like, oh, I'm doing this for the paycheck. He seems like he's having a good time. He's enjoying himself too. Hope it does well. I hope it does well. I hope it does really well. And I love seeing a movie cast full of kids with special needs, especially Down syndrome. You know, very close to me, as Joel said. My brother's Down syndrome, so um, hope it delivers. It looks funny. And you're right. The Ringer's a very funny movie too. Very funny movie. Um, I,
And for those of you who are listening that get very offended easily, and you're already upset because Johnny Knoxville is acting special needs, fuck off. It's a funny, really good movie. Watch it. Don't get offended by it. Just enjoy it. Because the special needs actors are fully aware of what they're doing. They had a really great time doing the movie, and Johnny Knoxville stayed in touch with them and is good friends with them. And that movie is phenomenal for the special needs community. So fucking fuck off.
I think yeah, I do love again as someone again as again my brother with special needs and Down syndrome. I love when he's again. This is why representation in movies really matter, man. And you know when people get to see themselves on the big screen, it goes a long way, and it kind of shows like yeah, you know people can see themselves in these characters and these big budget movies. I'm talking about like the low budget stuff. These big budget movies. Like hey, it goes a long way because it's kind of like I said, it's seeing yourself on a big screen, seeing yourself in a big movie, like, wow, that could be me. Well, I could do that one day, and it's very inspiring. Also, it's very like, and it's very assuring to someone. It's like, wow, like, yeah, I feel like I'm being seen. I see myself now, and I think it's why I hope we see more movies with people who, again, like I said, representation matters. It's seeing yourself in a big movie or a big TV show goes a long way. So again, I'm hoping Champions as well. I had a screening for it a few weeks ago. I wanted to go to, but I couldn't go. So I had an event to go to. But I was bummed that I missed it because I wanted to go see that with my brother. But I'll probably check it out in theaters hopefully this week, or if not next week. Again, I want to support that movie. I want to support Woody Harrelson.
I had
I hope it's good.
I had I had screening tickets for it this
Oh, you
Wednesday,
did?
actually. Yeah, but it was back in
Oh
Chicago.
no!
I was like, no one has a car and no one goes to
I
screenings. Like, I
know.
can't tell my mom about this. So it's like, yeah. So I didn't. So I was like, shit, whatever.
I wanted
Um,
to. I'm bummed. I missed mine too. Yeah, no, I was bummed.
yeah. So
Yeah, I hope it does well, man. I hope it does well. Again, kudos to Woody Harrelson. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And like I say, props to the whole team at Focus Features and Universal for doing this because you know taking a risk on this movie is a bit of a gamble, but I feel like they're very proud of this movie,
especially nowadays.
especially nowadays too. And Fletcher's an actor himself, and knowing Fletcher's actor. He likes to like and any acting chance he has, he's gonna take it because he loves to act so much. So I hope it delivers, and I hope people go out and see it. Also, again, it's original. I love seeing original movies. I love seeing ensemble pieces like this. So yeah, Champions should be in theaters I think tonight actually. So this weekend. So hope people go out. Hope people go out and see it too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the feedback on that movie. So like I said, looking forward to it. Um, yeah, man, we see the 2 hour mark. You want to do our one on ones for the week?
Yes, and for the people that are chiming in, that have not listened to our other episodes and just picked a random episode to listen to, one-on-ones is when, at the end of the podcast, me and Doug, or
Our guest.
me and Doug and our guest, when we have them, usually it's me and Doug at the end of it.
We end the show. We're the anchors.
Yeah, yeah, we're holding it together. Yeah, anyway, uh, it's at the end of the podcast where me and Doug will both recommend one show and one movie that we have either seen recently and think that you should probably see it or at least put it on your watch list, or it's a classic movie that we feel might be underrated and not have gotten the attention it deserved. And again, at least put it on your watch list. so, so yeah, that's the one-on-ones. Do you want to go?
Go ahead, go on, my friend. By all means, the honor's all yours.
Okay. The show that I will be recommending, but it's super popular, has an Emmy. Jason Sudeikis is getting the best role for it. Whatever, blah blah blah. Is Ted Lasso on Apple TV? I recently got that. Thank you, Family Man. Yeah, Ted Lasso. It's an intriguing show, and like, man, that shows Jason. Jason's like, he's so good with these characters that he makes, and he is just like, it's such a good written show in the UK, with just such good comedy and just sort of like, man, like, and Jason Sudeikis' character just makes you warm inside. But it's a lighthearted comedy show and stuff like that, but they do go over some pretty interesting, tough topics, you know? Later on in seasons. I'm fully caught up. I'm season 2 is coming out in like 5-6 days.
Yep.
I mean,
Sweet.
3. Season 3 is
Sweet.
coming out
Yeah,
in next week.
next week.
Next week on the 15th. Yes, sir. So it's really good, and you've probably seen some clips from it. Especially, there's 2 clips, which is one Jason Sudeikis dancing around a bunch of football players, American football players, and then and then right. But let me explain this before if people don't know what this show is. So Jason Sudeikis plays Ted Lasso, an American coach who's done American football, and he's coming to the UK because he got hired. God damn, Z. uh, um, Man, quiet on set. Anyways, I shouldn't talk shit. Mine's worse. My house is
No,
worse.
you're good. Quiet on the set.
So he gets hired by the UK for an under. Let's see, an under. What's the word?
Underdog team.
I guess
Underdog.
underachieving, underachieving team that was recently taken by the original owner's ex-wife after a divorce. And so Jason Sudeikis' character Ted Lasso's there, and he is very much so like, we're not going to quit, we're going to do this, we're going to change things around, not knowing that the new owner, who is the ex-wife, God, she is fucking beautiful. Oh my God, dude! Every episode I see her in it, God, it's a fucking. I love older, tall women with long legs. Anyways, my family might be listening to this. Knows my type now.
Surprise.
Surprise! I like. No, they've always known I like. I have older sisters, and I've had things for like their friends or girls in their grades ever since I was younger. I still do. I love older women. Anyways, back to what I was saying. The ex-wife, the very very beautiful ex-wife who is new, wants Ted Lasso to fail because he knows nothing about football, soccer, to all the Americans out there, which is a majority of our listeners, soccer. And so so she thinks like bringing him in who knows nothing is going to fail. And it's just really this really great adventure and such a great loving character that, expands to other characters, and you just love those characters, except one of the motherfuckers. You'll understand who late in the show. Fuck that dude. Can't wait for season 3. Fucking bitch. Anyways, so Ted Lasso, Apple TV, and movie. I don't have a movie actually.
Really?
This week. So I'm gonna recommend another show. Yeah, I don't have a movie. I haven't been watching movies. I've been watching shows. Apple TV again because I recently just got it. Was it For All Humankind on Apple TV is a space TV show where history, the space race back in the past is played out differently. The first man on the moon is actually Russian. And so this makes the space race continue actually. And so the first season is about just America getting up there, getting the territory and like different other stuff. And eventually, I'm on season 2. The episodes are long. They're a little over an hour long each, but they're really good with big actors, and it's like these actors are really like not super big, but of these actors, especially one who's playing one of the astronauts. He's in a very beloved movie that Doug loves so much, which is Suicide
I
Squad.
do.
Both of them. Yes. I forget his name. He's played the one that was with
Oh
Witch.
yeah, Joel Kinnaman. Joel Kinnaman. Yes.
Yes, Joel Kidman, who is just his acting, like, you guys have seen nothing yet. Watch this fucking show, because this show is, oh man, he brings it out in this. It's amazing. I've cried a few times, not intentionally, just tears rolling down. Like, it's a really good show that shows different, like, has a wide variety of characters and gives them like good backgrounds and like good character development, and they're like connected but at the same time not. And and it's an interesting to see how people would view, like, if the space race continued, how it would play out with also politics involved a little bit. Nothing nothing like, like, oh, Democrats, blah, fucking ignore that shit. Don't be like, I voted for this person. Like, a lot of these old presidents were shit. Nixon, quite a few others. Anyways, don't focus too much on that, but just shows the politics within within NASA and like the space race, and tackling interesting topics slowly, by the way, slowly tackling these interesting topics, such as equal rights for women, uh, how it would play out to be part of the LGBTQ community in the past and be an astronaut and hide that, being black, just a lot of different things. So it's interesting, really good, has amazing, amazing, amazing cast. Again, I'm only on season 2. Season 3 is next, and it's a really good show. I highly recommend. So definitely check that out.
Nice. Yeah, I love Ted.
Yeah.
I love Ted Lasso. I remember watching.
Yes, you recommended it to me
Yeah,
so
dude.
many times.
I remember watching that in like maybe the middle of lockdown. I saw a trailer for the show and I was like, I like Sudeikis, but this looks kind of corny, kind of cheesy. And people out here, during again, it's all during lockdown, during like podcasts and interviews. The show called Ted Lasso was amazing. You got to watch it. And I said, all right. And I remember I was talking to someone. I think it was either someone I went to school with, I went to college with, and he goes, "Hey, you seen Ted Lasso yet?" I said, "No." He goes, "Bro, you gotta watch the show. It's amazing." All right, I'll give it a chance. Oh my god, I was hooked. This is when I was unemployed. I couldn't find a job. I was watching literally anything and everything. And I was like, "Oh my god, the show is fucking amazing. I love the show so much." And I remember pitching it to my parents. My parents were like, "What? Sudeikis? He's doing a fake accent." I'm like, "It's the guy who made Scrubs. A guy who made Scrubs, and then he also co-created the show with Sudeikis and the guy who plays Coach Beard." And I said, "A chance." My parents go, "Oh, we don't know."
Oh, it's Coach Beard that made
No, Bill
Scrubs?
Lawrence. He was not an actor. Created Scrubs. Um,
Okay.
Bill Lawrence. Uh, Bill Lawrence did. Excuse me. He created Scrubs and a bunch of other shows too. And funny enough, Bill Lawrence actually created my show of the week. Believe it or not. Uh, my show. Anyway, yeah. So Ted Lasso. My parents love that show now too. They're hooked. It's very positive, very heartwarming. It's also for a TVMA show. It's a lot of swearing, but there's so much heart to it too, which you kind of root for this team. You root for the AFC Richmond. You root for
And you gotta remember that
London.
it's
Yeah,
based in the
yeah.
UK, and they have
A
a
lot of
lot of
cursing.
cursing. Like, cursing is very normal, like,
Yep,
thing,
that was it.
which makes me like, if I had a kid, I would teach them how to curse in a pretty normal way, because I curse a lot too. You guys don't hear it. Like, you guys think I curse a lot on here. Like, it's worse,
Likewise.
honestly.
Likewise. No. So do I. So anyway, I remember being in London. Whenever I walked to the pubs or wherever I went to, it was f that, f this, f that, or the c word. I'm like, oh my god. Good morning to you too. I was like, I'm just trying to get some bagels, trying to get some coffee. Um,
Right, like Robert De Niro said in that, like using the word "fuck" can can express so many different emotions.
yeah, no, literally, dude, it's accurate. So okay, so my show of the week actually is from one of the same creators of Ted Lasso, also on Apple TV Plus. Honestly, we're giving a lot of free press to Apple TV Plus. So Apple TV, if you're listening to us, give us some sponsorship.
For
Just putting it
real,
out there.
man, we've been Apple, users. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been having back to back to back MacBooks, all that shit. What's up?
So yeah, just saying. So my show of the week actually is Shrinking on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, I've been wanting,
It's
but man,
so good.
for the show for all mankind, I've been like, I'm gonna watch it
If
after.
you
But it looks really
if you love
good.
Ted Lasso, you love Scrubs, you like really good at writing. This show's called Shrinking, and the premise is the three main stars are it's Jason Segel, Harrison Ford doing a TV actually, and oh my gosh, her name is escaping me. I love her. She's so great. What is her name? She was in a show called Intergalactic. Jessica Williams. It was in a movie called Intergalactic on Netflix that I love. Kid Cudi, my all-time favorite artist. And it's about the premise is what if it's about therapists, and one day Jason Segel plays this therapist. He's grieving after a loss of his wife, and he goes, what if one day he tells his patients how he really feels? Like, what if one day he ignores all his training, all his therapist ethics, and he starts telling he's telling his clients, my client, he's telling his patients, he starts telling them how he really feels, what they should really do. None of this, like, in my opinion, it's like, no, do this. It's awful. He goes unfiltered. He tells them how it is. No bullshit whatsoever. And it's so funny. And Bill Lawrence created it with Jason Segel, who I love Jason Segel so much. Also, the actor who plays Roy Kent, Brett Goldstein, also created the show with them as well. You have the guy who plays Roy Kent, Lawrence, creator of Scrubs and Ted Lasso, with Jason Segel creating it as well. Just a very it has so much layers to the show. Kind of like Ted Lasso, there's so much layers to it. It's funny. There's dramatic parts to it. There's a lot of like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen? There's so much going on into it. But it's really funny. And there's great dramatic scenes. Harrison Ford is fucking awesome in this. Harrison Ford is such a good actor, and I love seeing him in like kind of like more grounded stuff. Not seeing him as Han Solo or Rick Deckard in Blade Runner or Indiana Jones. Listen, I love all those movies so much too. But seeing him in a kind of like a everyday man kind of role is so refreshing. And he has some of the funniest one-liners that crack me up, dude. It's so funny. Jessica Williams is really funny in this show too. But there's so much to the show, and each episode goes more and more in depth of like it's about like kind of like bouncing back. It's like all about like, hey, finding who you are again, even though it's like finding who you are, finding your happiness, even though life isn't that happy all the time. It's life throws you a bunch of shit a lot, and it sucks. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with loss? How do you deal with patients that don't listen to you? How do you deal with obnoxious friends at work or friends outside of work? It's such a good show. The writing is fantastic, and it's so funny too. And honestly, one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in a long time. It's no Ted Lasso, but I would put up there how good it is of a show, and I love it. So again, Shrinking, Apple TV, Jason Segel, Jessica Williams, and Harrison Ford. It is fantastic. I love this show so much. And for movie, I've been thinking about. I've been watching a lot of movies recently. I did the whole Scream. Me and Z did a whole Scream marathon the other day in preparation for the new Scream this weekend. I watched a bunch of movies recently, but there's one movie that I kind of been thinking about a lot recently, and a very underrated movie that you and I saw back in high school that I think no one else has seen but us, believe it or not. It's a movie called Project Almanac. You remember this movie? No? You remember this movie?
You're gonna have to
So
remind
remember
me. It sounds
those high school
familiar.
kids who invented time travel?
Oh, wait, is it the wait, there's two of them I'm thinking about. We're talking about the three white
The
kids,
white
right?
kids, and then like remember like it's the two white kids and their Asian friend, and they remember their dad was working when the main guy's dad was working on something, and all these super smart kids. His dad. I don't spoil too much on it, but his dad's working on this super secret project, and they find out that his dad was trying to crack time travel. These three high school friends, and one of their little sisters, as well as a girl from their class that they weren't really cool with, but like the one guy has a crush on her or whatever, and they crack time travel. And these guys, it's all found footage. And they crack time travel, and they're like, wow, we can do anything. But you know how obnoxious teenagers are. We all were teenagers at one point. How like there's like they were just trying to like meet girls, be popular. They're seniors in high school. They want to like rule the world. And but again, they're so obnoxious that like they don't know how to use time travel correctly. The more they go with it, the more shit the more the butterfly effect. You change one thing, more things change too, and they're just so like they just they don't know how to control it. And the more they do it, the more shit gets bad, the more things they lose, the more things that happen to their families. And you know what? It's a very underrated movie. I feel like it came out, no one saw it. I mean, you and I saw it because we see everything back in the day. And it's a very good, it's a very
True.
good premise, and it's a very good low budget kind of. Again, this was like same era as like Chronicle and Project X and those found footage movies. I'm a sucker for time travel. I mean, my favorite movie is Back to the Future. I love sucker for time travel stuff, and I think this movie is very underrated. And it came out, went, no one saw it, no one saw it. But if you can find it, I think it's on Pluto TV, which is a Paramount company. And you rent it as well on Apple TV and Prime, all those things too.
Hmm.
But yeah, Project Almanac. It's a very if you're a time travel nerd like I am, or you appreciate time travel movies, it's very original, very low budget, but it looks pretty well good for a low budget movie. It's a fun movie, great premise, and has a lot of fun. And it came and went, very underappreciated, but yeah, I really like the movie a lot. And I rewatched it recently, and when I was working, and I was like, wow, this movie's really good. And I feel like it didn't get a lot of love when we saw it in theaters. I think it came out 2015. I want to say, yeah, almost, yeah, about 8 years ago. So, I really do like a movie a lot. So my pick for this week, my show was Shrinking on Apple TV Plus. Great show. And my movie of the week is Project Almanac, which came out in 2015. And I think you can watch it on Pluto TV or you can try to rent it. But yeah, very two good pieces of media that I do love a lot. So yeah, those are my ones of the week, my friend.
Nice. All right. Well, uh, why don't you plug yourself, and then I'll plug myself, and we'll just
All
say
right.
our goodbye.
As mentioned, guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As always, again, find us on we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, all the major audio platforms. Subscribe, tell your friends about us, tell your family about us. If you're going to the gym or on your commute to work or home, whatever. Hope you enjoy the show. Again, as always, too, you can find myself on Instagram at the Young Jones. And you can find the show and our company, Midway Avenue Productions, Midway Avenue Productions on Instagram and TikTok. Again, as mentioned before, I'm doing a lot more TikTok, trying to do like quick reviews, out of theater reactions, movie rankings. I have a fun one we posted today. Actually, me and my girlfriend Zeta, we did like a kind of like a Scream marathon. We say, oh, which ones were our favorite? Quick reviews, but yeah, and TikTok, Instagram at Midway Avenue Productions. The show is Genre of Your Life on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and you can find me, Doug, my personal page, which is at the Young Jones. So thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Don't look for me on Instagram. I don't post there. Um, but you can find me on Twitch. It's a streaming service for video games and stuff like that. I been streaming a lot more recently. I have a few games like Batman, Atomic Heart, new season of Destiny, which I need to get right back into. um, so yeah, you can go to twitch.tv/ the OG Cuban Rican. And you guys can find me there. I stream from time to time. If you guys don't like to watch a video game stream, just share the love for people you do know like it. So yeah, that is that is it for me. That's all you guys can follow me on. Um, I just want to say thank you for coming back and being a part of this verbal journey through our rambling and opinions and us just try and find the right words to voice how we feel about what's been going on in with entertainment industry. Hopefully we have made you guys think of just a different way of looking at certain films or stuff like that, and also like maybe even put some stuff on your watch list. My name is Joel. That over there, good fella of that is my friend of 20 plus years is Doug. And we are so grateful that you guys came and listened. And hopefully you can spread the love some more and come back and be a part of this verbal journey again next time. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night.